Walk into a forest and watch what happens. A deer lifts its head and bolts into the trees. Birds explode off the branches. A squirrel freezes, then scrambles up the far side of a trunk. A bear, 10 times your weight, all muscle and claws, turns and lumbers away. You didn't shout. You didn't chase anything. You didn't even raise your hands. You just showed up, and the whole forest flinched. Now look at yourself. No claws, no fangs, no venom. You can't run fast. You can't fly, and your skin tears open on a thorn bush. By every measure that matters in the wild, you are soft, slow, and almost completely defenseless. And yet nearly every animal on Earth is terrified of you. So why does the entire animal kingdom run from the least dangerous-looking ape alive? The answer is a little unsettling, because it has almost nothing to do with how we look. It's about what we've done. Start with just how strange this fear really is. Drop a lone, unarmed human into the savannah, and on paper, we are easy prey. We're slower than almost everything that might want to eat us. We have no horns, no armor, no claws, no natural weapons of any kind. A leopard should look at a human being the exact same way it looks at an antelope, as a meal it can catch. But it doesn't. A leopard catches one glimpse of a person and melts into the grass. So do lions. So do hyenas. So do elephants, the largest animals on land, animals that fear almost nothing. The fear makes no sense for our bodies at all, which means it has to be coming from somewhere else entirely. To find out where, a team of biologists ran one of the eeriest experiments in all of wildlife science. They hid speakers around waterholes deep in the African bush, in one of the densest lion populations on Earth, and waited for animals to wander close. Then they played a sound. Sometimes it was lions, snarling, growling, the apex predator of the entire savanna. And sometimes it was just people, calmly talking, ordinary human voices at a normal volume. They filmed thousands of animals reacting across dozens of species, and the result was almost unbelievable. The wildlife was roughly twice as likely to run, and they ran faster from the human voices than from the lions. Think about that. Lions are supposed to be the most terrifying thing in that entire ecosystem, and the animals fled from people quietly chatting more than from the roar of the king of the savannah. Giraffes, elephants, leopards, warthogs, antelope, even the lions themselves, over and over. The single scariest sound in the African bush wasn't a snarl. It was the sound of us. And this is not just an African story. All over the planet, in forests, on mountains, across open plains and the open ocean, scientists keep finding the exact same pattern. In California, mountain lions freeze and abandon the deer they just killed the instant they hear human speech. In England, badgers stop coming out to feed for hours. In hunted regions, animals won't even let you get close. They turn and flee from hundreds of meters away, far sooner than animals in protected parks. Across continents, across wildly different species, the most frightening predator in the soundscape is always the same one. And it isn't because of our teeth. It even holds true underwater. Reef fish scatter the moment a snorkeler drifts overhead. Sharks, The animals we imagine as the ocean's nightmares will often turn and quietly slip away from a single diver, because down there too, we are the apex of the apexes. We pull sharks out of the sea by the tens of millions every year. On land, in the air, and deep in the water, there is almost nowhere left on this planet where we are not the thing to be feared. So here is the real reason, and it's written in cold, hard numbers. When scientists actually measured how much humans kill compared to every other predator, the result was staggering. We hunt and fish adult prey at up to 14 times the rate of any other predator on Earth. A lion mostly takes the weak, the old, the very young, whatever it can catch and overpower. We take the strong, in their prime, in their millions, and we do it with traps and nets and rifles that no animal can outrun or outfight. And then we do something almost no other predator on the planet does at all. We kill the predators too. We hunt the lions, the wolves, the bears, the sharks, the very animals that everything else is already afraid of. By the brutal arithmetic of who kills what, humans are the single most dangerous predator that has ever existed in the entire history of this planet. Nothing else even comes close. And we have held that title for a very, very long time. For tens of thousands of years, wherever humans set foot for the first time, the biggest and boldest animals, the mammoths, the giant ground sloths, the moa, the cave bears, tended to disappear soon after we arrived. The creatures that made it through were, again and again, the wary ones, the nervous ones, the ones that ran. We didn't just become the deadliest animal on Earth recently. We've been rewriting the rules of fear across this planet since the last ice age. And if a fact like that just shifted something in your head, a quick like genuinely helps more curious people find this. Now, back to why they run. Which finally explains the fear. To a wild animal, we are not a soft, slow, harmless ape. We are the deadliest thing their world has ever produced. A super predator that hunts the hunters. And that knowledge gets buried inside them in two very different ways. The first is evolution, working over thousands of years. The animals that happened to fear humans ran early, survived, and had babies. The ones that stood their ground, calm and curious, were quietly the ones that didn't come back. Generation after generation, we filtered the fearless out of the gene pool and left behind the jumpy, the cautious, the ones built to flee first and ask questions never. The second way is much faster. Animals also learn within a single lifetime, and they learn this particular lesson in one terrifying encounter. One close call with a hunter, one gunshot, one trap, and the fear locks in for good, and they teach it to their young. So the panic you see in that fleeing deer isn't an overreaction. It's a memory of every spear, every snare, every rifle, passed down through its bloodline and burned into its brain. And here's the part that's almost sad. It doesn't matter what you intend. A hiker out for a peaceful walk, a photographer who only wants a picture, a biologist who's there to protect them. To the animal, they're all the same. It can't read your mind, and it can't afford to guess wrong. Every human is treated as a possible hunter, because for hundreds of generations, that is exactly what a human usually was. Our reputation arrives before we do, and there is nothing gentle we can do in the moment to switch it off. And that fear does something far bigger than make a single animal run. It reshapes entire landscapes. Just the recorded sound of human voices can empty a waterhole, stop a predator mid-hunt, and change where animals dare to feed, drink, and raise their young. Scientists have a name for this, a landscape of fear. And it ripples outward. When big predators avoid the places that smell of us, the smaller animals they normally keep in check suddenly behave differently, which changes what gets eaten, which changes what gets to grow. Our shadow of fear reaches farther than any lion's ever could, and we cast it without firing a single shot, often without the animals ever laying eyes on us. Across the whole planet, the simple dread of human beings is quietly rearranging where the wild things are even allowed to live. Now, it isn't completely universal, and the exceptions are the proof. On remote islands where animals have never met a human, like parts of the Galápagos, the creatures aren't afraid of us at all. You can walk right up to a bird and it won't even flinch, because nothing in its entire history ever taught it to run. City animals slowly shed their fear too, once they figure out that we mostly won't hurt them, which is why a fox will trot down a sidewalk that its country cousins would never cross. And the animals that live in our homes and on our farms, dogs, cats, cattle, chickens, we spent thousands of years deliberately breeding the fear right back out of them. So fear of humans isn't stitched into life itself. It's learned. It's earned by direct contact with exactly how lethal we are. Wherever animals fear us, it's because they, or their ancestors, found out firsthand what we really are. So the next time something wild takes one look at you and runs, remember this. It isn't judging your claws, or your speed, or your size. It's reacting to a reputation hundreds of thousands of years in the making. A reputation we earned, kill by kill, across every continent and every ocean. The fear in its eyes isn't really about you, standing there, gentle and harmless, and a little bit hurt that it ran. It's a mirror, and it reflects, with perfect clarity, exactly what kind of animal we became. The one the entire world learned to run from. If you'd like to keep asking strange questions like this one, subscribing means you won't miss the next. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.